Steve Bowers welcoming you to Front Row, our look at public education in the Jackson-Madison County School System. We're joined today by Greg Hammond, who is the Chief of Public Information for the Jackson-Madison County School System. It's always good to see you.
Thank you for having me here today.
Appreciate you taking time to do this. We have a lot of things. We're doing this program on the 12th day of June in 2023, and we are in the midst of budget discussions in relationship to the county budget that will be scheduled for approval June 30th. So we really don't know where we're headed. There's a budget committee meeting going on as we are doing this program, where the Board of Education has indicated, the superintendent's indicated they're going to represent their original budget. They've already run into opposition, had approval from a budget committee for the budget with $1.2 million in capital to go to computers, and that was rescinded at the next capital meeting. And so it's been up in the air, and there's been a point of conflict. Madison County Commissioner Mike Taylor has sent an extensive critique of the budget, and he has shared that with media, raising questions in his view, and he feels like these are legitimate questions being raised by some on the county commission about the school system and its expenditures. And the superintendent, Dr. Marlon King, has issued a statement, an extensive one, combating misinformation, he says, about budget and process. And we're not here to take sides on this, but if people want to follow this and get information from the school system as to what's happening with this budget, how do they do that?
Certainly, we want to encourage our community members to go to our website, jmcss.org, obviously to read some of the news items, but also we want to encourage all stakeholders to use the Let's Talk app. Okay. And at the homepage of our website, there'll be several points for folks to access Let's Talk. This allows our community members, our families, to speak with our school leaders directly, to ask questions and receive timely feedback. Okay. While they're there, they can request to be added to our mailing list. Of course, if they're already receiving the Superintendent Chronicle, if they're already receiving press releases, then they're on our mailing list and they can continue to keep up with these issues, but also for our successes as we share them throughout the school year. So just that direct contact with the school system is really the best way not only to keep up with this issue and this conversation, but also when we share our successes as well.
Well, when I go to jmcss.org, where am I going to find these links?
Yes. So there's a number of places. There is a blue button on the right-hand side of the homepage that essentially says, Let's Talk. Okay. But also, as you scroll on our page, Steve, you will notice that most of the text is blue. Okay. However, when it comes to the Let's Talk section, it's yellow, intentionally to draw our stakeholders to Let's Talk, so they can begin the process of connecting with the district.
If I have questions and a raised question about the budget or any other issue, then what is the mechanism for responding? Does someone within the staff respond to those?
That's correct. So you can send a general message that comes to my department. All right. You may have a message about the budget or about human resources. Say you have a question about the substitute teacher training that's coming up. You'll notice within the Let's Talk platform that there are buttons for categories. So you could either send a question to a particular category, which sends your question to that department head. Okay. So if it's a question about human resources, that would go to Dr. Diane Watkins and her department. If you have a question about operations, maybe a leaky roof inside a building, it would go to Dr. Catlett and his team, Mr. Jason Bridgman in operations.
Okay. All right. So take advantage of that. This is going to be an ongoing discussion. Once again, budget approval is set for June 30th. Final vote by the county commission. There'll be a lot of discussion apparently between now and then. And so we want to keep that out in front of everyone. One other thing that's come up in the news, we finally got TCAP results.
Yes.
And all that.
Preliminary results.
Preliminary results. Caught the attention of Commissioner Taylor, who said the education outcomes within the Jackson-Madison County School System are a cause for concern, said the commissioner. The latest TCAP scores indicate that only 19% of third graders are performing at third grade or above reading levels. Additionally, the three-year average for Madison County stands at 78.8%. These statistics paint a challenging picture and raise questions about the effectiveness of the current spending priorities in addressing educational needs and improving student proficiency. So the system reaction to that is?
Let's pause and provide some context.
Okay.
So if you want to use state numbers to criticize your local school system, you should also use state numbers to praise your school system when it's applicable. Right now, we're a level 5 school district. That's a designation by the state of Tennessee.
And level
We're not
5 means-
perfect,
okay.
but we are making gains. And so this level 5 designation is based on the Tennessee value added system.
Right.
Okay. So essentially, the state makes a prediction of where your students will score. As you approach that metric or pass that metric, impacts your number, your level. And so it has never been done before that our district was a level 5 district. And so not only are we a level 5 district, we have several reward schools. So certainly I want to address his question, but let's talk about this in context.
Well, the situation, there are two assessments going on. One is the rate of progress you're making. If I'm a poor performing school, if I'm one school and I go to 2, then I've doubled, right? And so on a value added scale, if I'm already at 4 and I go to 5, I've moved also 1 point, but it's not doubling. And so it depends. So we've had some low performing schools that are doing well as far as making progress.
That's right. And not only that, we've had some low performing schools that were in danger of being taken over by the state.
Right. And so
not only have those schools, Isaac Lane and Arlington, come off that list, they're now listed among our most successful schools when you think about the rate of growth.
Right.
We're not perfect.
Right. We're
But
getting
improvements
better.
are being made. We are certainly getting better. So as the commissioner makes that statement, we certainly need to look at this in context. Another thing to mention, Commissioner Taylor mentioned trouble on this particular test.
Right.
The particular test he referenced was English Language Arts in 3rd grade. In context, remember, we have students from 3rd grade to the 11th grade taking state tests, okay? And so certainly if there's areas we need to improve on, we want to do that, okay? But let's also be clear that in many other categories, we are making progress. Also, additional context. Let's see, what was it? Only 40% of students statewide in 3rd grade scored proficient on this particular test the commissioner is bringing up, okay? So if 60% of students statewide are struggling on this test, this may be an issue with the test.
Okay, so, well, a couple of things. This came out this year because 3rd grade is considered a crucial level.
Yes.
As far as reading was one thing. And so it became a targeted and highlighted area of concern. Though testing is going on all the time. The other thing is that we were one of the lowest performing districts in the state, right? So when you read this, are there questions about the test, first of all? What is being done then to I know we have summer programs and other things that are going on, so how is this responding to this?
We are making sure our parents understand that they have a path forward for promotion.
We got this 3rd grade retention law that's really highlighted this, that was passed by the legislature, saying if you're not ready to go to the 4th grade, you're not going to the 4th grade. Right?
Also, too, and I don't know if the commissioner mentioned this or knows this, but there is a retake testing window for students to retake the test. In the retake window, we right off the bat had 40 students improve their scores to now score proficiently in that test. So not only that, if you look at our numbers for this year, although they're not where they need to be, I think it was 19.5% is where it was this year. Well, it was 10% a year ago. So there is growth there. And then one more thing for context that I think folks who don't work in education need to know. This is not simply a test where little Steve sits down to read a book. This is a test that measures not only his reading skills, but his comprehension. This is a test that doesn't just provide you with a couple of questions. It will, in this test, Steve, because it judges your comprehension, it is intentionally made to be difficult. In many sections of this 3rd grade ELA test, we're talking about 8-year-olds, okay? This test will have more than one good answer, okay? And so now 8-year-old Steve is forced to find the best answer out of these. So this is not simply a young person sitting down to read a book. It's a very challenging test. And then again, I might add, if I could interject an
Sure.
opinion as a parent at this juncture. Is it really fair to judge a student's performance on one single test? I mean, where does that happen? I think only in graduate school that happens.
It might not be fair. The thing is, with the third grade retention law, this has become the headline,
Yeah.
right? And that's one of the areas of discussion. We got several things to talk about. Greg Hammond's with us with Jackson-Madison County School System. This is Front Row, our look at public education. But you can follow all of this through jmcss.org. And so be tuned in to what the system is doing. We're at the in the school year. Well, in fact, we're in the summer break. We've had some academic accomplishments we wanted to talk about this year.
That's right. And so, again, we're a level 5 school district. We will know in August, where we'll be in the new year because this data is delayed. It's a lag. Even now, Steve, as we talk about the third grade retention and the ELA test, the state is still going through the process to review many of these tests. Say, just for example, there may have been if there's a student who moves into your district and moves into your school that's only been with you 3 weeks, but still had to take that test. And so the state is doing the process of really getting into the weeds, so to speak, to see what the final grades and designations will be, not just in third grade ELA, but across a number of different subjects.
Is this law going to be implemented to the point that students are actually going to be held back?
I'll say this. Our superintendent has said many times, he's resolute that he's not going to allow a single test to hold a student back. And so we know there are many ways for students to get over this hurdle that the state has implemented. And so whether it's attending summer learning camp, whether it's tutoring during the fall, whether it's retaking the test, there are several metrics in place for students to find a clear path to fourth grade.
We got some other notes, our time kind of wrapping up here with this edition of Front Row. We've had some students in the Loop program that have been working at Black & Decker, Stanley Black & Decker there. And then we had an interesting project, an innovation project, where students at Southside actually built a house.
Yeah. Let's talk for a moment about this innovation grant and the tiny house at Southside High School. The conversation in the community, some folks like to say, well, hey, we need to concentrate less on college and more on career and technical and trades. Our answer is we can do both at the same time, and that's what we're doing. And so through the innovation grant that the state provided, which essentially, Steve, provided funds to strengthen traditional career and technical classes, in addition to making some new career and technical classes. And so what you saw was a collaboration with students from Southside High School. So it was carpentry students collaborating with automotive students, collaborating with welding students to build a tiny house that's self-sufficient, solar powered. And so it's interesting to see the response that the school has received from the community, not only to help build the tiny house, which helps with savings. And so once this tiny house is completed, there'll still be funds available to make another tiny house. And so those funds will support the creation of another tiny house. And so these students are receiving just remarkable training.
Let's take a look at this video. This is the tiny house project at Southside High School.
I'm Weston Blankenship. I'm a junior at Southside High School, and this is the tiny house. Come on, let me show you around. This is my teacher, Mr. Gordon. He's going to help me show you all around.
This design is a design from an old style of building.
Right, this is shingles, isn't it?
Exactly. They used to have cedar shakes on roofs.
Right.
Same thing, board and back.
So,
but nobody's going to want to paint. Nobody wants to do all that.
that's already done for you.
It's already done for you.
We're going to take you inside, but we're not going to use this door. Mr. Gordon, tell them what this door is for.
This is going to serve as a utility closet. We're going to have all of our main power comes in right here. It's going to go out where it can go to a temporary service. You're going to house your inline hot water heater right here. And then all this space underneath here is where it can be heated, and it's going to be battery storage so we can house solar panels. How many rooms are in this house?
Well, there's 4, just like your house.
That's right.
We've got the bedroom, the living room, the kitchen, and a bathroom.
This will be behind bifold barn-style doors. So your head of your bed will be right here. Your entertainment center is right there. So if you want to lay in bed and watch TV in this house, you just open the door.
So just like in most people's houses, this shower right here is bigger than a normal camper shower. So you can stand in it and not have to worry about being shoulder to shoulder when you're taking a shower. You got plenty of room to move and wash. And right here is going to be where our toilet's sitting at. So it'll be kind of pretty much like a little miniature bathroom, just like some people have in their homes. So right here, we have our stackable washer and dryer. That's why these two lines will run right here. And if we step down, we're going to have our stove, and we're going to have our refrigerator. That's why this line, that cold water line, run right there is for our refrigerator.
All right, the interior finish, when we get done, will be all 1x6 tongue and groove. From the inside, this will look like a log cabin. If you'll look up, you can see the gutters. And you don't see any downspouts like you have on your house right now. What's going to happen on the gutters is we're going to put flexible pipes on there, and the gutters are going to come out to a holding tank, and we're going to capture rainwater to supply the shower heads, the toilet, any water that can be considered wastewater.
If I was been on a textbook, I would have learned half the stuff.
That's
But
exactly
I've been
right.
actually putting my hands on it and working and doing it myself.
The whole reason that this grant got done, and the reason that we're doing this, is we can turn this and our work into money for our program, which allows it just to bother. You can keep rolling and keep rolling and keep rolling and do 50 of these. You can do whatever you want to. And it's they talk about work-based learning. This is work-based learning.
We couldn't have done this without Mr. Gordon's leadership. A lot of the stuff that we've done out here, we've had to ask him and have him guide us on a lot of it, and we are very thankful for having him as a teacher to be able to help us do stuff like this.
Fascinating project at Southside High School, and we also have some students that are working at Stanley Black & Decker.
Yes,
Right.
we have students working at Stanley Black & Decker. So not only were they students during the day, but part of the day they went to work at Stanley Black & Decker, build their resume, and earn a paycheck. It's a very exciting project.
We have Loop students working at the Jackson Energy Authority.
That's correct.
As well. It's a great program. Let's take a look at this from Stanley Black & Decker.
Hi, I'm Hannah Horch, and I'm the Training and Development Specialist here at Stanley Black & Decker, and I work directly with the Loop students. It's such an advantage to be able to work for a corporation before you've ever even graduated from high school. You've got that on your resume, you've got this life experience, you earn money during the school day. I think it's a great opportunity for students to advance their skills, not only educationally, but also socially.
And I'm liking it so far. It's helping me with school, helping me do it a lot quicker, helping me advance my college. Right now I'm taking criminal justice and psychology at Jackson State Community College.
Hi, I'm Kirsten Beard. I'm a Northside High School senior, and when I found out about the Loop program, it really just gave me a better opportunity and just to get more experiences in life and the work program. Working in manufacturing can kind of be like being on a basketball team, honestly, just because you have to get along with people, you have to know how to communicate, and just work with others.
My name is Rudell Reyes, and I attend JCM High School. I'm a senior there. I mean, it's a good opportunity to open your mind, like get a different perspective.
Hi, my name is Aaron Dickerson. I am from Northside High School, and I am a Loop student. I was very silent when I came here and really wasn't able to open up and do everything. My social skills really opened up everything for me. So the experience has been great. So I've enjoyed it, and I would recommend it to anybody.
These students are learning communication skills, and they're building a resume that can go with them for life. They need to come into this program with an open mind and be willing to learn.
Seeing these kids grow and be successful is so rewarding, and lots of people will tell you that they're some of the best workers on the floor, so that's super exciting to me.
Welcome back to Front Row, our look at public education, the Jackson-Madison County School System. We're talking about some different things in academics. Let's talk about some athletic programs. We had the spring fling and a big deal, and of course TSSAA is working through classifications in a couple of years. We got a lot of things, all moving around in
That's right.
athletics all the time. We're getting ready for football season coming up and basketball and everything else, and we had an splendid year last year with Southside in the state championship.
We really did. So you had the Southside Lady Hawks winning a state championship in girls basketball. Fast forward to the spring, you had Madison Academic bringing home 2 pieces of gold. Okay. The boys soccer team won the state championship. And what's cool about Madison Soccer is many of those students are members of the superintendent's ACT 30 and Up club. So not only are they making the grade on the field, they're making the grade in the classroom as well.
Let's go for the gold with Madison and the soccer program.
My name is Braden. I was the captain for the state championship Madison Mustang soccer team this year. And going through just reliving that state moment to finally do it, to cap off the senior year with a state championship, is something that not a lot of people get to do, and is something I was blessed to be able to do. Just the relief of making the penalty kick, the relief of having a game, it was so nerve-wracking to be able to get it done. It's just such a satisfying feeling and so much joy.
I'm Donovan Pruitt for the 2023 Madison Academic Soccer Team. I would say I'm very grateful for the experience, you know, when I realized that not many people have done what we have done, you know, it just makes me cherish the moment even more. And I'm glad to have these guys by my side to do it.
I'm Kyle Korth, senior on the Madison Academic Boys State Champion soccer team. It's just such a great feeling. Immediately after, there was so much joy. Everyone stormed the field. Everyone was happy together. And then once it all settled down, then it finally sank in, like, this is an experience only a fraction of some high school athletes get to experience. And so being able to do that myself is really wonderful.
Yes, Madison is one of the top schools in the state for like overall package, academics, teachers, coaches, athletics, extracurriculars, I'd say. Kyle and I personally being able to have like the sophomore year we went to state in all the sports that we played. Like that's the kind of thing a lot of schools don't get to make it to state for even one sport. And to also have a 4.0, have a good ACT score, all these things.
You know, all the state appearances, we're known, but I feel like especially this year, we're getting recognized with, you know, my peers, Mitzi Castro and Adolfo bringing home some state rewards, and also us bringing home the state championship. I feel like we're also getting up there in sports as well.
Great highlight when you bring home the gold, and it's happening more and more and more with Jackson-Madison County School System athletics. Somebody else at track and field, tell me about this.
That's right, Adolfo Morales. He's a student at Madison Academic who his freshman year, which was a COVID year, he was just a student walking the hallways of the school. He dabbled in a cross country, but his friends convinced him to participate in track, and boy, did it pay off.
Let's take a look at the video.
Hello, my name is Adolfo Morales, and I'm a senior here at Madison Academic, and I am a state champion in pole vault. So I competed in state in the pole vault and 300-meter hurdles last year. I actually got last. After that, I knew I had to get my redemption for next year.
Measurement is more about how you improve. And so eventually, if you continue to focus on making improvements, the whole state thing just works itself out.
The key to practicing well and having a good practice is being consistent. So throughout the season, I've always had trouble being consistent, but nevertheless, I think my first meet in pole vault, it was in Laker, Kentucky. I double PR'd. So my last year PR was 10.6. Then I did 11 foot, which really surprised me. And then I went on to do 11.6. After that, 12 foot. And throughout the whole entire season this year, I could not do 12 foot, but until this state championship, which I couldn't have asked for better timing.
Very disciplined, and he's willing to really do what it takes to be successful.
When I was in the podium, I just remembered all the nights, all the afternoons I would drive up to Memphis. And pole vault is such a sport. It's a sport where if you don't do it right, you're gonna hurt yourself. And so I remember in practices, I would hurt my tricep or my shoulders, always come back hurt. When I stood on that podium, all that felt like it paid off. Hard work really did pays off.
Oh, I'm extremely proud of just all the kids in general, just because, you know, obviously we do have a challenge with facilities and things like that. It's just not the best scenario to produce the best athletes, but I think we're producing some of the best in our class.
Just try out track and field, you really love it. Racing and having that competition level, all 8 lanes filled up. Let's say it's a 100-meter race, you're just lining up there, you're about to race all these other people who are as fast or even faster than you, just pushes you to a new level.
Well, we've talked about academics, we've talked about athletics. We also want to close out with some discussion about the arts. And we have an outstanding student and faculty member that you want to talk about.
Yes, in full context, we had a great year in the arts. Our high school and middle school teachers put on The Little Mermaid. But even before that,
and that was a big
it was a big production,
effort.
a big collaborative effort that took place at Liberty High School. But we've really celebrated the arts all year long. And we want to spotlight a young man, James Mulligan. He's a student at JCM Early College High. And his teacher, Mr. Eugene Clark, who's been an employee in this district for 40 years.
All right, let's go to the arts with this video.
Hi, my name is James Mulligan. I am a sophomore at Early College High, and I am in Art Level 3. And I would like to show you some of the works that I've made that I find particularly interesting. This was done from a photo reference of a Mongolian eagle hunter. He uses eagles to hunt. He's one of the last of his tribe that do so. And I found that his face showed a life of hardship that I really wanted to capture. And I think his outfit that he wore in the portrait was really unique, and I wanted to get that as best as I could. For the detailing, I used some advanced techniques that partly I've learned on my own, but also some shading that I picked up through my classes here at ECH. We do scales to help develop our abilities of getting down value and lighting. And here at ECH in particular, what I like is that Mr. Clark gives us a lot of opportunities to test ourselves and to work and discover our own ways of doing things. And for the fur on his coat, a technique that I picked up was using an eraser to actually blend and add a sort of a soft texture to his coat.
His strength to use our media, the pencil, the media, and in using that pencil, he draw photos. And in drawing, he shows quite a few advanced levels of shading techniques. He used quite a bit of criteria, and in that work, he's good at drawing large. Large drawing is definitely a thing that we like for the advanced to do.
This was the first of the large drawings that I've done here in my sophomore year. This is, I'd say, one of my favorites because it's one of the first that I've done where I spent a lot of time working on it. It's a piece that's meant to purely convey an emotion.
Welcome back to Front Row, our look at public education of the Jackson-Madison County School System. We've been visiting with Greg Hammond, who's the Chief of Public Information. We've got several things going on. We talk about with budgets, academics, all the things that are happening out there. Your message summary of where we are right now is?
Yeah, I think like the superintendent said in his State of the Schools speech, we're not perfect, but we're getting better. And so when folks want to talk about the school system, please talk about us. Be interested in the school system. But remember to talk about us in context because there are a lot of things we're doing well. We have a superintendent who is a visionary. And I think what employees want to see is a community rally around him because, as the track piece highlights, there's still room for public and private partnerships to not only move our school system forward, but to help move our community forward.
Okay. Keep all that in mind and go to jmcss.org. And one of the new features is a Let's Talk feature.
The Let's Talk feature. We want to connect with our community, and that allows this communication to continue.
Okay. It's important to utilize that. Once again, all these discussions are continuing. We're doing this program on the 12th day of June. Lots going to be happening during this month, so keep that in mind, and we will keep you posted right here as we continue Front Row in our look at publication in the Jackson-Madison County School System. We appreciate you being with us and look forward. We're trying to come up with another show coming up, I guess, early July, right? We get finally things settled out, so we look forward to having you back with us. And once again, jmcss.org. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time. Front Row here at E+ TV6, our look at public education of the Jackson-Madison County School System.